I guarantee you 50% profit in 45 days, double your money in 90. The line was clean, bold, and easy to repeat. The man behind it said he had found a legal trick in the mail, an honest way to turn paper into money faster than any bank. His name was Charles Ponzi. In a few months, cash flooded in. A few weeks later, it all cracked. He did not invent fraud, but he gave it a name the world still uses, the Ponzi scheme. He began as Carlo Ponzi from Parma, Italy. Born in 1882, his family had good manners but little money. In 1903, he crossed the Atlantic with big hopes and small English. He took any job he could get, dishwasher, waiter, clerk. He learned fast, he made friends easily. He also spent fast. He wanted success now, not someday. During a boom in Montreal, he was hired by Banco Zarossi, a bank for Italian immigrants that promised high interest. Behind the counter, he saw a dangerous habit. The bank paid old customers with new deposits and called it profit. When the economy cooled, the bank failed. Ponzi then made a worse choice. He forged a check and went to prison. After he got out, he returned to the United States and fell into a smuggling ring that moved migrants across the border. That brought federal time in Atlanta. By the 1910s, he knew both the rush of quick money and the cost of being caught. After World War I, Boston looked like a fresh start. Ponzi found his next story in a small corner of the mail system, international reply coupons, IRCs. These coupons let you buy return postage in one country and redeem it in another. After the war, exchange rates were messy. On paper, you could buy coupons cheaply in a country with a weak currency, mail them to the United States, redeem them for more valuable stamps, and sell those stamps for dollars at a profit. In December 1919, he formed the Securities Exchange Company to arbitrage these coupons and invited the public to invest. His office was tiny, but the promise was huge. 50% in 45 days, 100% in 90. He gave signed receipts. He paid early investors on time. People told their friends. Lines formed outside his door. Newspapers praised the immigrant who had outsmarted Wall Street using postage. Confidence created cash. Cash created more confidence. Some days in July 1920, he reportedly took in more than $1 million, an enormous sum then. And with the money came the life he believed he deserved. Ponzi turned himself into a spectacle of success. He moved into a grand mansion in Lexington, a quiet, wealthy town outside Boston. The house had a wide lawn, a sun porch, and room for guests. He arrived at the office in a big, chauffeured car that made people stare. He wore custom-tailored suits that fit like armor, crisp shirts, and silk ties with a gold watch chain across his vest. His shoes were polished to a shine you could almost see yourself in. He liked the little signals that told a crowd, "I am winning." Fresh-cut flowers on his desk, thick stationery with his name on it, a walking stick, and a smile that made you feel he had all the time in the world. He ate at the best restaurants and never looked at prices. He tipped waiters, doormen, and newsboys with generous bills and a pat on the shoulder. He sent donations to charities, made a show of helping families in trouble, and once paid off small debts for people who praised him in public. He rented a nicer office with more staff, more mail slots, and more counters to count cash. He hired secretaries to answer phones and calm nerves. He hired clerks to sort money into neat stacks, so the room always looked liquid and strong. He hired a photographer, so newspapers would print the image he wanted, the successful, solid man who made money flow. He even tried to buy influence to keep the machine safe. He bought a big stake in a Boston bank so his checks would clear and his deposits would be treated as welcome, not strange. He told people he was protecting his investors. It sounded like good stewardship. It was really defense, another layer of armor for a business that could not survive a slow day. But simple questions broke the spell. Reporters at the Boston Post asked how many coupons would it take to make these profits. Clarence Barron of Dow Jones did the math in public. If Ponzi's numbers were real, the US Post Office would be drowning in coupons. It was not. State and federal investigators opened files, bankers whispered doubts. The same headlines that had lifted Ponzi now turned on him. Ponzi kept smiling. He sued newspapers for libel. He invited auditors to inspect his books. He said he was the victim of jealousy and fear. But in the back room, the engine had only one rule: pay old investors with new investors' money. There were never enough coupons anywhere close to the scale required. And even if the price gap existed on paper, the real world blocked the path. Post offices kept small stocks of coupons, not shiploads. Redeeming coupons produced stamps, not cash. Turning mountains of stamps into dollars fast would have set off alarms and caused long delays. The mail moved slowly. Ponzi's promises moved impossibly fast. The business was a cash pyramid that would collapse the minute new money slowed. So why did people believe? Timing and theatre. In 1919 and 1920, speculation was everywhere. People were hungry for a break after war and inflation. Many had seen banks fail and wages fall behind prices. A neighbor who doubled his savings felt like proof that the door was open. Ponzi's real talent was not finance, it was packaging. He used the language of modern money, the arbitrage, international exchange, and wrapped it in images of success: cars, suits, a mansion, a line around the block. He made risk look like order and made speed look like skill. By July 1920, pressure grew sharp. The Massachusetts Bank Commissioner demanded answers. The post office said clearly that coupon volumes and rules made big profits unlikely. Auditors looked for assets and found holes. On August 10th, nervous investors rushed to pull out their money. 2 days later, federal agents arrested Ponzi for mail fraud. The books told a simple story: huge promises to investors, very few real assets. Momentum had acted like collateral until a single week showed it was only air. The lifestyle unraveled as fast as it had been built. The mansion that had made him look safe became a symbol of waste. The car, the suits, the flowers, the tips, all of it turned from proof to evidence. Neighbors who once waved now watched. Reporters who once praised now counted the bills and the victims. In a matter of days, the man who had played the part of a modern tycoon looked like what he always was: a performer who needed the applause to keep the lights on. Ponzi pleaded guilty to federal charges and served time. Massachusetts charged him under state law, and after appeals he got more prison time. When he was released, he tried again in Florida. This time the product was land in 1925, 1926, prime lots that were mostly swamp. He used the same voice and rhythm. Easy money, fast returns, you can't lose. It ended the same way, with arrests and angry buyers. In 1934, the United States deported him to Italy. He later took a job linked to an Italian airlines work in Brazil, grasping for one more chance to be new. War, poverty, and age closed in. Nearly blind and long forgotten, he died in a charity hospital in Rio de Janeiro in 1949. The fancy suits were gone, the flowers were gone, only the name remained. A warning stuck to any plan that pays yesterday's promises with today's cash. The numbers show the size of the illusion. Tens of thousands gave him money between late 1919 and mid-1920. Total intake reached about $15, $20 million in 1920 dollars, hundreds of millions today. On peak days, more than $1 million came in. Almost none of it sat in real earning assets. Profits were withdrawals funded by fresh deposits. A normal bank keeps capital to absorb losses and liquid assets to handle withdrawals. Ponzi kept neither. He had one fuel: constant new money. When that fuel thinned for even a few days, the engine seized. Reputation did the rest. Ponzi built it the way a showman builds a set. He paid early investors on time to create stories they would spread. He stood in a custom suit and spoke calmly about using the rules, not breaking them. He gave to charity and shook hands with a warm grip. He sued critics to scare them off. He practiced a kind of math in public. If you saw the car, the house, the lines, and the cash, you were supposed to add them up to safe. Trust seemed to compound faster than any interest rate, until 1 week turned it negative. His template traveled because human nature travels. In Albania in the 1990s, pyramid funds promised fast, steady gains and collapsed in pain. In the 2000s, Bernard Madoff offered smooth monthly returns and hid the truth behind friendly letters and fake statements. The tools changed: emails, spreadsheets, client portals, but the heart of the trick did not. Promise high, steady returns. Show selective proof. Make withdrawals awkward. Keep the books dark. Change the asset. Reply coupons, real estate, a proprietary strategy, and the outcome stays the same. The lesson is simple enough to keep in your pocket. Real arbitrage is rare, small and short. If someone says they have a risk-free deal that keeps working at huge size and only they can do it, they are selling a story, not a trade. Liquidity and solvency are different. You need cash today and real assets that beat what you owe tomorrow. Ponzi had neither, so one rush for the door ended everything. Independent checks are not red tape, they're the power cord to reality. Custodians, clearinghouses and auditors exist, so the numbers must match the money. If someone asks you to trust their word instead of those checks, step back. Charles Ponzi's unplanned gift is a simple test. When a pitch sounds perfect, ask 3 plain questions. Could these profits really be made at this size, by this method, in this time? If your honest answer is no, you are not investing. You are funding someone else's show. The cars, the suits, the flowers, the mansion, they are not proof, they are props. And props fall when the stage lights go out.